Well, there's nothing we can do about that.
Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the 31 Nights of Halloween Horror! Rainbows from the nether regions, otherwise known as Hell. And so tonight, we have episode 11, yes, coming off of the epicness that was The Conjuring 2. What an awesome movie. And I thought, hey, you know what? Let's go back and to the wonderful land of Asia. And I have quite a big list of movies that I want to watch. And this was one of them, and this is the perfect opportunity. One of the reasons why I do this 31 Nights of Halloween Horror is because it gives me motivation to actually watch some of these movies. And that movie for tonight is the movie Red Eye. It is a Korean movie about the passengers and crew on a red-eye train that is probably, what is it, the last voyage of this train before they decommission it, and it's also the last voyage of this conductor who is retiring. And it's interesting because it also came out the same year as another movie called Red Eye in America, and it's definitely not very similar to that. So let's get into it. So the movie starts out with a little girl who's watching television, waiting for her father to come home to get her birthday present. And she finds out that her grandmother died, and then there was a horrible train accident, and her father died. So worst birthday ever. And we also find out that these two brother sister, I don't know if they're twins, but the brother sister combo survived the ordeal. So fast forward a good 15 years later, and that same girl whose grandmother and father died is working on her first day, I guess you would say, snack cart on the train's red-eye shift. And we just kind of get like a little snippets of a bunch of different characters and people getting onto the train. And as it's going, there is what appears to be a little girl on the train tracks, causes the conductor to stop the train. Looks around but can't find anything. Anyways, that delay allows it to become in sync with a ghost train, and they kind of parallel each other, and then weird supernatural strangities happen. And the crew, especially this woman, try to figure out what's going on, why things are going all weird, and try not to lose their minds, and maybe even lose their lives during this craziness. I don't want to really, we're going to get into a plot, but I don't know how I could say anything more without being a little spoilerish. So let's get to those scores. Violence and gore, I'm giving a 2 out of 5. There's not a lot of violence. There is a bit of blood. However, not too much graphic stuff going on, and not too much violence. Some of the deaths, you're kind of confused on how they actually died. Maybe they were scared to death. I don't know. But not a lot of violence and gore, so 2 out of 5. Shock value, I'm giving it 2 out of 5. This movie is, like other Asian movies of that time, all about creating atmosphere and using shock jump scares. However, this one, it seemed to kind of fall a little flat, and some of the things going on with the plot also took away from the impact of some of the jump scares, so I can't really give it too high a score, so 2 out of 5. Acting, I'm giving it a 3 out of 5. Once again, foreign actors, subtitles, it's hard to really gauge how good they are, but nothing was really took me out of the experience, and I thought they did a decent job emoting, so I'm giving it a 3 out of 5. Plot. Now, see, this is the big thing about this movie, and I am giving it a 1 out of 5 because this plot is a muddled, confused mess. It is just really, really bad. It's disjointed. You spend too much time trying to figure out what's going on, and not in a good way. Not like, yo, what's going on in the story. You're just trying to figure out what's going on in the freaking movie. And the whole idea of like this parallel train doesn't really make a lot of sense because like, where's what was the ghost girl in the beginning at the tracks? That didn't really make sense because if they weren't in sync with the ghost train, then what the hell is going on there? And then the whole fact that they blow by one of the stops and the ghost train is supposed to be making the same stops, the ghost train would have stopped and they would have been out of sync, you would think, but no, that was not dealt with, so that's a big hole. Another thing is they tried to do this little twist thing, like where the twins or the brother sister who survived the original crash want to join their parents, so they want to crash this new train on its last voyage, but then they are technically possessed and the little kids died in the train accident, but how were they outside of the train interacting with real people beforehand, before the train even got synced up? That just made no sense whatsoever. And just a bunch of other things, little things, just kind of started adding up. Like, I know, I kind of thought it was cool that they had like this sort of transition thing going on in the train because of the synced up. That kind of felt like Silent Hill, where you had the normal train and then the train from hell. And that was kind of neat, and the fact that the ghosts didn't know that they were ghosts was a kind of cool thing. But overall, it was just not very cohesive as a story. It felt all over the place. Another thing was, it was like 15 years between the first train wreck and this incident, and so that young girl is like, in her 20s, and sort of the love interest in this movie, at least the guy, it looks like they're trying to form a bit of a love interest, was on that train crash also, and he survived, but that would make him, I mean, at least, if you're starting out working there, I think you'd be at least 20. So you'd be like 35. He would be a good 10 plus years older than her. And I guess maybe that kind of works out. I don't know. It felt out of place, and we had some weird stuff about ghosts and possession and like people just dying, but you like, how did they die? I don't see any wounds on them. So it was just really, really just a big freaking mess. It was a clusterfuck of a plot. So 1 out of 5. Nudity, 0 out of 5. They just really didn't have any opportunity for that, so I guess it really didn't need it. I mean, for plot-wise, but I think it kind of needed it for enjoyment. So going on to enjoyment factor, 2 out of 5. It's just too muddled, too messy plot-wise, and because of that, it felt kind of just ho-hum, and you kind of got yourself a little like, let's just like get this over with, and that's just not a good thing. I wouldn't say boredom, because I did like the atmosphere and there was things that were interesting about the movie. It's just the plot just made you just scratch your head way too much, and not in a good way. So 2 out of 5. Overall impression is also a 2 out of 5. There's just too many problems with this movie, and I just can't give it even an average score. It felt very disappointing, because I did like the concepts that they were going for. I thought the story could have been interesting and unique, but if it was just executed better, had a better storyline, better writing, it almost feels like they were trying to be too clever, to be too smart, to be too twisty, and they ended up twisting themselves into a unwieldy knot that they could not get themselves out of. So 2 out of 5. The average score, because of that, suffers. It's 1.7 out of 5 is the average. And honestly, just thoroughly disappointing, which is kind of sad because I heard good things about this movie. I mean, I've had it on my watch list for probably 10 years. So, anyways, Red Eye from Korea, not to be confused with the American one, with I think was it Cillian Murphy. And I actually really enjoyed that movie. And it's kind of like one of those underrated, under-the-radar type movies, because I thought it did a real good job with Tenshi. But I'm not talking about that one. I'm talking about the Korean one, which kind of failed. So, what do you think? Have you seen the Korean Red Eye? Leave a comment in the comments. Tell me what you thought. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to subscribe, go ahead. I don't know why. I mean, there's no point in doing any of that stuff. And, yeah, this one's going to be a quick one anyways, because I've got a birthday celebration to go to right after work. I mean, right now I just got out of work and I'm finishing this whole thing up. So, until then, Internet, maybe you should skip the train and just drive to wherever you're going, especially if it's like at midnight, right? Just don't run over any women, because vengeful spirits, especially if you were dating them prior to that situation. Is that a spoiler for a different movie? Maybe, I don't know. Anyways, stay sexy, Internet.